Okay. What's up, YouTube? HPJ here, and I am coming at you guys with the Forbidden Limited List for the OCG. Now, this is going to be a big shocker because there's a lot of cards hit on this list, and a lot of cards coming off the list, and a lot of cards that you wouldn't expect to ever see at 3 at 3. So I will be giving you guys the full rundown. Don't worry, I will have a link to the YGO organization's page so you guys can check out the lineup of cards yourself. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so we have Forbidden. We have the Nightmare Mermaid, and we have Gadara X, the Dragon of Demolition. For Limited, we have Salamangreat Gazelle, Thunder Dragon Colossus, Thunder Dragon Hawk, Lady D-Bug, and Metaverse. For the semi-limited, we have ABC Dragon Buster, we have Spiral Quick Fix, Dark Arm Dragon, Dark Grapher, Dino Wrestler, Pankratops. We have TG Hyper Librarian, Cyber Stein, Trishula, Dragon of the Ice Barriers, Necros Cycle, Mystic Mind, and then for the unlimited, we have the Elemental Hero Stratos. We have Dynamite, the True Draco Fighter, Totally Awesome, Spellbook of Knowledge, Solemn Judgment, and Ceasefire. So this is pretty much the lineup of all of the cards that have been changed on the OCG's Forbidden Limited list. I will just say this now. This will not affect... We don't know if this will affect the TCG's Forbidden Limited list because we're only halfway through the month now. So we don't know if this will change within the process of the next couple of days, or when we are to get our TCG variation of our Forbidden Limited list. I am not too surprised about a lot of these things because I'm sure, just from what I've seen in the OCG, there have been a lot of cards hit due to a lot of course, popularity of play within the game, a lot of here and there meta, and a lot of changes within the game to where some cards are not as deadly as they used to be. Following fruition, of course, of a lot of the Nightmare cards getting hit, Mermaid is no exception. So that technically leads Cerberus, Unicorn, Griffin, Cerberus, Unicorn, Phoenix, Griffin as the last of the Nightmare Link monsters, because we've had the loss of Mermaid and what's his name? Goblin. So now both of them are not well, I believe they still have Goblin. I'm not sure. I think the OCG banned Goblin as well. Gandara, the X-Dragon of Demolition. This has to do with a combination of cards that help summon Gandara, and then Gandara's effect, and then it's pretty much just a massive board wipe. And I heard this was a really powerful card over there in the OCG. There was a deck built specifically around it, just like any other OTK, FTK style of combination. Sorry about that. So, I'm not too surprised that this card eventually got hit. I don't know if this will be a card factoring in for the TCG, because we haven't seen, honestly, anyone talk about this card. Most of the time, it's basically the next card I'll talk about that got limited on the list, and the deck it's from. So, we'll move on to that now, and that is one of the biggest searchers in the Salamangreat deck, Gazelle. Gazelle has a ton of massive play within the Salamangreat. You have the access to summon it when a card is sent to the graveyard. Sent to the graveyard. You have its ability to send something to the graveyard when it's special, when it's normal or special summon. It's one of the biggest active cards, of course, in the deck. When it comes to the Salamangreat, because this is either a card you search for, a card that you want to have access to as soon as possible. And of course, with Lady D-Bug, she end up getting Gazelle, or she got Spiny, and then that set up the field to where you can get a lot of your other combination of cards, and then go into monsters to get into cards to get Gazelle, to Gazelle getting a lot of cards into the graveyard. It's the biggest combination of set and set in stone stuff for the Salamangreat. And eventually, yeah, a lot of these cards are going to start breaking down. Not to mention, they're about to get their Link 4 monster, and that thing is completely broken. If you have not already seen the Link 4 Salamangreat, I think it's called Salamangreat Phoenix. Yeah, and that thing is beautiful and deadly all at the same time. Another hit to another popular deck in the game, of course, is the Thunder Dragon Colossus. I've played a bit with Thunder Dragon Colossus. The Thunder Dragon deck is a deck that just takes advantage of banishing. It takes advantage of course, not Solemn, but it takes advantage of Golden Sarcophagus. You take a lot of banish mechanics, in this deck pretty much strives off of it. It's a very prominent fusion style deck, and it took one of the oldest cards in the game and made it popular, which a lot of new age cards do. So Thunder Dragon, for the most part, we're gonna see a lot of changes in that deck when the OCG, because this was not the only Thunder Dragon card hit. No, Thunder Dragon Hawk also received a hit on the list as well. So I want to see how they'll fluctuate with only one Colossus and one Hawk. We go on to Lady D-Bug, and this was actually a change that we've seen in the TCG first, with the limited of Lady D-Bug, because she is one of Salamangreat's biggest searchers. Despite the fact that she's not light, it isn't Salamangreat she just benefits. She also benefits Cyverse decks as well, because there were Cyverse decks getting built to circulate around a lot of combinations with some newer Cyverse monsters. The theme of Cyverse is a deck that you really didn't think would have a lot of popularity outside of the anime fans, but then that Salamangreat deck came out, and that's what really pushed Lady D-Bug. You seen it here in the TCG, where Lady D-Bug and the Salamangreats are topping. If not topping, they're winning events. So Lady D-Bug's hit and Gazelle's hit, I actually would not be surprised if a lot of these hits on the OCG list do somehow factor into the TCG list, but we won't know till we see the TCG list itself. Moving on from that, Metaverse got a hit as well, and as we've seen later on in the list, Mystic Mind got a hit. This is primarily because of Mystic Mind. The OCG hates decks that situates on burn, situates on stall, situates on hand destruction and deck destruction. But Metaverse is pretty much terraforming at that point, just in the trap form. So I'm honestly not surprised this card is hit to 1, because I believe terraforming is hit to 1. Ancient Fairy Dragon is banned on both sides, and I honestly would not be surprised if this card gets hit as well on the TCG list. So that is the Metaverse, and we're going to move on to the semi-limited. We're seeing a lot of these cards come back, because a lot of the cards that made them broken are either banned, Firewall Dragon, or most of the other stuff that they got hit is limited. So I'm talking about you, ABC Dragon Buster, and you, Spiral Quick Fix, which are two cards that during the beginning of the Link format, and probably before then, ABC Dragons were doing a tremendous job of control right before that list came, when the Link monsters came. So it's no surprise to see ABC Dragon Buster go back to 2 in the OCG. It's just one of those things where, wow, it took a long time for it to come back to 2. Light Dominant Machine attributed machine type deck with tons and tons of support. The Spiral Quick Fix. This was, like I said, Spirals was one of the cards that made an entire archetype go crazy when it got its new support. And Spirals were actually earlier cards here in the TCG than when the Link support came for not only this, but I think the Subterras ended up getting support as well. This is where one of those decks that really blossomed and then had to get hit hard because of how powerful it became in the metagame. Then we move on to seeing Dark Arm Dragon at 2. So Well, a lot of the Teledad, a lot of the you know 2004 Goat decks, a lot of their support is coming back. Not because of it being classic setups, classic cards, but a lot of them are just pretty much null and done. Like it's a lot of them are okay. It's time to just bring them back because they're not relevant enough in the metagame. There's a lot of stuff that's changed in the metagame. So I like to see what they'll do with Dark Arm Dragon, as well as Dark Grepher going back to 2. I know Dark Grepher was hit to 1 because of the decks that preceded it. Um, the whole Dark Speed, Light, the Dark Speed Link decks that were going around. And I forget what the combination of the deck was that did speed that up. Because I know it had to do with Armageddon Knight. It was a warrior combination deck. It was a lot of stuff that had to deal with Dark Grepher and stuff like that. And Malicious and all the crazy things. So it's nice to see some of the Dark monster support come back. In the forms of one of Dark's biggest boss monsters. And one of Dark's biggest support cards. Speaking of support cards, we have the Dino Wrestler Pankratops. I'm never going to get that name right. But Dino Wrestler PR is at 2 in the OCG. I think primarily just because of how broken of a card this is. It's a free special sub. It's no... it will never match up to, of course, Thanos Dragon. I'm talking about Chief Phantasme, the fantastical dragon. And the thing about this is that this was... I don't know how you can compare this to Phantasme, because you compare practically a $2, $3 card to a $100 card. And the only real thing about it is how easy the special summons are for both of those monsters. Other than that, each of their effects are completely different. And this is just one of those monsters that just stands alone as a get out to a lot of one-ups. And especially considering the fact it contributes itself to blow up something on the field. Helps you against a lot of decks that you don't really want to deal with. So, there's the Paratops. Alright, we move on to 3 of the Extra Deck's favorite setup cards. We have TG Hyper Librarian making his return to 2. TG Hyper Librarian was at 1 for a long period of time just due to synchro spam. Because of the Master Rule 4, you would have thought it would have came back, but synchros can have a way of abusing a lot of things, and of course one of the biggest abusing cards is Kriston Needle Fiber, and its access to helping decks get a lot of tuners and synchro monster setups. So seeing TG Hyper Librarian is nice. Also, just to remember, TGs are getting new support in the OCGs, so this could also be a boost for them as an archetype. Cyberstein at 2 isn't too relevant. I mean, Effect Veiler, Ash Blossom, and stuff like that can easily kill this card. And paying off 5,000 life points to get a summon of a monster from the extra deck. I mean, a fusion monster from the extra deck tends to be a love-and-hate relationship with Cyberstein. But, the sign is back in the OCG. And this is the OCG artwork for Cyberstein. Because he is more decked out in machine gear, because that is a bullet retainer around him, and he looks more mechanical than he does in his TCG, because I think they censored a lot of what was on Cyberstein. The 2 little horns and the belts and everything. Trishula, Dragon of the Ice Barriers, will be at 2 in the OCG. I would not be surprised if this card comes to 2 in the TCG. Trishula was one of the loved and hated synchro monsters of its time. And Trishula is a very good control card if you can get Trishula out. So I wouldn't be minding to see Trishula. I need to pick up a Trisha, actually, for a future deck coming up. That is Trishula, Dragon of the Ice Barrier. Then speaking of more cards with water, Netcross Cycle is coming to 2 in the OCG. To popularize some more Netcross play, some more ritual play as well. Mystic Mind. So, the newest and latest control burn card is at 2. I still own my Mystic Mind, and I actually am considering not getting rid of it. Not only because of the fact that the Harpie player did top in the TCG at France. But this is a very good control card if you know how to play with it. I wouldn't be surprised if the TCG hit this card a little harder. If not hit it, waiting to the next list to hit it hard, just like the OCG did. I don't know how much of a prevalence it's going to be, but we'll wait and see what the OCG does with Mystic Mind. Now let's go on to the Unlimited. Of course, that is the Elemental Hero Stratos. Let's be honest, a lot of these cards that are getting Unlimited are primarily because there are just other cards to be more pristine and more caring about. I'm not saying Stratos is a horrible monster or a bad monster, but when you look at it at this point, there are just a lot of cards right now that even if they get unlimited or unbanned, the metagame is just probably a lot faster than what they are, or just, sweeps their deck under the rug. So when you see a lot of cards like Elemental Hero Stratos coming back, you didn't see too many hero decks in the TCG do anything with Stratos. And most of the hero stuff that did come was probably before Stratos came, and then it wasn't too caring after Stratos came back. So that's same prevalence here for Dynamite, the true Draco fighter. Let's be honest, the true King True Dracos aren't as powerful as they once were without Masterpiece. This is still one of the game's most standalone tribute decks next to Monarchs that really don't care what an extra deck is. They can abuse and use all their material without having to care about what extra deck stuff they use, what a special summon is, and benefits a lot off of their continuous spells and traps. Totally awesome. I didn't know this card was hit. Might have just because water support is very good. How much of an amazing monster this is in the extra deck. And it's just so cute. And when you're cute, you're deadly in any game. So that is totally awesome. Probably due to control and draw power, they had hit Spellbook of Knowledge, and now it's back. Same thing with Solemn Judgment. It's similar ideal as Stratos. Just because these cards came off the list don't mean they're that powerful or that good or that prevalent anymore. I wouldn't be surprised if the TCG bring this back to multiples, because a lot of decks at this point say, okay, you can destroy me with your card effect, but guess what? I'm immune to being destroyed. Or, okay, you destroyed me and stopped me from coming back. Okay, here's another monster and setup that I can use now because I baited out the Solemn Judgment, the Warning, the Strike, and all of that. And then Ceasefire is Burn. And I guess they said, well, we'll hit as much of the burn stuff, but we'll just throw you guys a leg of giving you Ceasefire. So, alright, that is pretty much my opinions and lineups of the new the new OCG Forbidden Limited list. I think before I go, my biggest thoughts are how much of an impact will this have on the TCG's list? If TCG's circle of onlookers have seen this list and said, okay, well, what's ours going to look like, and go from there. Because we're now at a point where nationals and stuff, nationals and world qualifiers are now coming up. So, yeah. Alright, well, I will catch you guys next time. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'm sure you guys will leave your opinions on the OCG's Forbidden Limited list. So let me know what you guys think, and I will catch you guys next time. Don't forget to hit that bell for notifications of when I upload my new content, and follow me on Twitch to check out my live streams. Thanks everybody for watching. HCJ signing out. Take care.